What's up, you guys? Pete Carlo here, and today we're going to do another deep dive, but this time on the company NIO. This is a company that I have a love-hate relationship with because I own $10,000 worth of NIO all the way down at $3.10 a share, and right now it's trading around 30 bucks. But this video is for you if you're somebody who's thinking about maybe getting into NIO, maybe you have a really good average and you're thinking about getting out, or maybe if you just want to know more about the company to make a potential investment. Now, please remember, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just some guy who makes YouTube videos and likes to invest for a living. And for those of you who do not know what NIO is or what they do, they are a premium electric vehicle maker in China. All of the vehicles right now are SUVs, but we'll be talking a little bit more about that later on. They're partnered with a company called Jack Motors. So they don't make their own cars right now. This could potentially be a problem. We're going to talk about that when we get to the pros and cons section of this video, but they don't have their own manufacturing plant right now. So they rely and partnered with a company called Jack Motors. Currently, they have 3 flagship vehicles that are out on the market. This is going to be the ES8, which is the flagship vehicle. This is their biggest vehicle, and it's an SUV. The next one they have is the ES6, which is just a smaller version of the ES8. And then they have the EC6, which is a compact and even smaller SUV, which is rivaling the Model Y, and that's kind of why they made it. Now, they're also coming out, we're going to talk about later on, the ET7, which is kind of their Model 3. And the one thing you'll notice is they really are coming after Tesla, specifically in China. Now, the past couple of months, the price of this stock has been absolutely insane. I was buying it down at $3. I think it hit lows of like $2.40, $2.50, and even hit highs all the way up above $30. So really, if you're holding on to this or if you're planning to buy into it, it's going to be extremely volatile. Most recently, we've seen this huge move because JP Morgan put a pretty big price target of $40 on this stock back on October 16th. Now, like I said before, I did own this company at $3.10. That's why I put a little sad face there, because I really should not have sold it. The reasoning behind me selling it was simply because at the time they were really burning through cash, and they still are. They're not a profitable company, and it was just too volatile of an investment for me to hold on to. So I sold around $4.50. I made a pretty nice profit. Obviously, I wish I held until today, but what are you gonna do, right? Another thing is that they have backing by SoftBank, which is really big because SoftBank is a huge bank and a huge lender. And it's really great for them to have a lot of financial backing. Another good thing is that China, the government in China, is actually backing them. A lot of these loans are through the government over there in China. And the biggest thing you guys need to know about this company, and where I really see them having a big differential between them and Tesla, is their battery services. They have is a truck. So say that you run out of charge, you don't have a battery on you, you can just whip out your smartphone, call up their battery help support system, and they'll actually send a truck out to fast charge your battery in I think it's under 60 minutes, which is another good thing. The other cool thing that they actually have too is that you could schedule a pickup to your house where they will come pick up all your batteries, charge them for you, and then return them. So it's these battery services that I think really stand apart from Tesla, and this could be something that Tesla eventually adopts, some of these different things within their own company, but for right now, these are some key components that really separate them from Tesla. Now, like I do with every deep dive, I give you a pros and a cons section, and then ultimately, what do I think about this stock? Now, as far as this is considered, normally I also will put a technical analysis section within this, but I'm not going to do that because I think that if you're trying to trade NIO, just straight up trade it, it's really not the best idea. If you're going to be buying NIO, you need to be buying this thing for the long term because it is an investment. I wouldn't say it's a gamble anymore. At $3, it was definitely a gamble. But overall, this is a company that you're going to have huge swings. There's going to be tons of volatility. And if you plan to purchase this, you need to have strong hands and an iron will and not try to time anything when it comes to this company. Now we're going to start with the pros, and some of them we have already gone over. Now, the first pro is that the Chinese government has come out and said that they want 25% at least within the next coming years of the vehicles in China to be electric, because they're really trying to reverse the damages that have been done over the past 20, 30 years, and they're really trying to reduce pollution within the country of China. So of course, if they're pushing for more EVs and to stop the huge use of ICE vehicles or internal combustion engine vehicles, that could be really big. even look at, for instance, how in the United States we're doing this in Los Angeles, where I think it's by 2030 or 2035, the state is trying to be emissions free. So that's a really good thing, because think about it, China has billions of people, billions. And of course, not every person owns a car, but still 25% of car owners switching to EV, NIO could get a huge portion of that revenue. Now, the other thing is that they're looking to be profitable within the next 12 months. Now, of course, when a company says that, we hope that that's true. Of course, they cannot be true, and they cannot be profitable in the next 12 to 16 months. But so far, if you look at their most recent deliveries, they're really, beating expectations and seem to be on that trend to actually end up being profitable within the next 12 months. Now, the next thing is expansion into Europe. They've talked a lot about potentially expanding into Europe with the ET7, which is going to be like the potential Model 3. This I put here as a problem, and I put Volkswagen, and we're going to talk about that when we get to cons. So one pro is that they could try to expand, into Europe and potentially one day into the US, but I don't ever really see that happening. But we're going to talk about that later on. Now, another pro is the average outlooks that a lot of these banks and analysts have been giving out. The low outlook over the next year, the lowest that I was able to find, is about $140. There were some price targets within the next 12 months all the way up to $240, but the average conservative range of price targets that I have found on NIO are around $40 to $150. And when you take into account that it's trading right around $27, $28, that's a pretty big move within the next 12 months. Now, the other pro is the swapping technology, like we talked about earlier, where you could do a battery swap. You could call a truck to do the fast charging. You could schedule a pickup for your battery. That's a huge selling point, and that's a big pro and a big distinction between them and Tesla, which is really good if you're an investor. And then the last thing is that China is backing them and they want them to succeed. So obviously, China is going to want a Chinese company to succeed when it comes to electric vehicles within the country. The first con, they don't make their own cars. So they rely on becuase motors, and I don't like that. I don't like when a company has to rely on another company. One of the big reasons I was a little skeptical of Skyworks Solutions a couple of years ago was because about 45% of their business was through Apple. So if Apple decided to go with somebody else, if Apple wanted to get in a price war, Skyworks would rely on them. The same thing kind of goes with NIO and Jack Motors, where if Jack Motors was like, listen, we need more money to build these things, or our capacity is not, big enough to get these cars out to the high amounts that you really want to get these cars out, our supply chain is not able to do that, or we're going to put our cars first over yours. Any of this kind of stuff, I don't like when a company has to rely on another company for their business and they don't even own their own manufacturing plant. So that is one huge con. Now, of course, the bigger that the company gets, we saw this with Tesla, even though they did own their own facilities, once they got bigger and bigger and bigger, they eventually made multiple gigafactories around the world. So as of right now, that is a con, but this is a big thing that I'd like to see them take care of about 5 years from now. Now, the next is the 50-50 SUV to sedan market. And we know in the United States, more drivers want SUVs than they do want sedans. And in China, it's about 50-50, which means that if you're only making SUVs as of right now, you're really only going to attract 50% of drivers. Now, they are making the ET7. I believe that it was supposed to be on sale in September. I still have not seen it. I tried to look for it today, so that's not out as of right now. A lot of it, I'm sure, has to do with the Rona over there. Overall, they need to really pump out these sedans, and they need to do them well so that they can really appeal to the other 50% of drivers. And we know that Tesla, and this is where we're gonna get to the next con, they're kind of going after Tesla, and if they go to Europe, they're going to go after Volkswagen, because Volkswagen is really making a push to electric vehicles, as well as Volvo. So they are going to have a lot of competition with Tesla and Volvo, and specifically with this ET7, which is just, going after the Model 3. They're going to have to go against Tesla, and I wouldn't want to do that. Because while Tesla is very innovative and they're trying to, I'm not saying copy, but make their own version of the Model 3, the more that Tesla does this, the cheaper Tesla will be able to make it for the customer, the cheaper Tesla's gonna be able to make it for themselves, And honestly, if I was a company, I would not want to go up against Tesla or against Volkswagen. I'm gonna do a full video, a full deep dive on Volkswagen if you guys are interested in that, probably within the coming weeks. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can stay up to date with that. The next con is that there's a lot of short-term volatility. So like I said before, if you're somebody who cannot just like hold on to your shares and watch them go up 20, 30, 40, 50% or go down 50, 60, 70% possibly, this is not an investment for you. If you're somebody who cannot handle short-term volatility, I do not recommend purchasing this company. And the final con, it's overpriced. Like in my opinion, this company is pretty overpriced. My price target to enter this would be around $15 to $20. I know a lot of you guys aren't gonna be happy with that. I'm probably gonna get some hate in the comment section. If you're planning to hold this stock for the next 5 to 10 years, buying at 27 is really not bad, but if you're somebody who wants to hold it for the next 3 to 5 years, you have to be a lot more precise with your entries, and it's right around that $15 to $20 mark that I'd be looking to buy. And quite honestly, if it does go back to 15, I would purchase it. I really would. There's a lot of good things that I like about this company, and that's why I enjoy doing these deep dive videos for you guys, because this is not something that I probably would have looked into again. It's probably not something that I would have ended up purchasing, but because I'm doing these videos and I'm looking more in depth into these companies and reading a lot more documents and different articles, I'm actually starting to find a lot of companies that I like. So thank you guys. Let me know what you think about NIO. Will you be buying? Will you be selling? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, share this video with anybody who needs to see it, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.